Hello there, it's me, Koala. I still upload videos, occasionally. And if you are a gaijin toe gobbler, then get out your tissues and clutch your anime body pillows closer, because this one's gonna make you a little testy. So I didn't want to come back with this specific video, because I know I've been away for a long time and I honestly wanted to come back with a more positive video and mood saying, this is the new me, no more ranting, just fun from here on out. How did I think that was going to work? See, I know many of you do genuinely like to hear me rant about whatever greedy horseshittery gaijin entertainment we're due for this week. I guess it's amusing to hear the funny voice get even more unintelligible. Should hop in the car with me then. My partner says I go full Highlander when I get road rage. Bitch, I'm Scottish, I was born with road rage. The thing is, while I know many people do enjoy it, I worry that it kind of fosters an environment of negativity, which sounds like something Greta Thunberg would say after she slaps another alpha male down to size with a one-line tweet. But seriously, I want you guys to enjoy my videos, for them to make you happy, or at least enthusiastic. And even if rants and swearing are funny, I get concerned that people aren't really fans of them. Even if you agree, and most of you always do you really come away from the video feeling more bubbly and joyous than when you clicked on it? I know the answer to that. I'm annoying as fuck. And I'm proud of it! The thing is, I was only going to make this statement as an announcement on Twitter and Discord, but after I ended up posting it in the community section on YouTube, a lot of you asked for it to be made into a video and suggested that it might get across to a few more people who couldn't be bothered reading 3 paragraphs of text because it takes too long. I feel sorry for War Thunder girlfriends sometimes, I really do. The cat's not exactly in the bag anymore. In fact, she's on my PC. I think she likes the fans blowing up at her like she's Marilyn Monroe. Yes, she is that much of a diva. But I am no longer a part of Gaijin's Content Partner affiliate program. I might have noticed that when sales went on, that while everyone else was making premium buyer's guides and shilling their decals and 3% discount codes, which didn't actually apply over the existing sale, you may have been duped, I was nowhere to be found. I've actually had a really tough last part of 2022 and early 23 where just about everything that could have gone wrong did. First, my partner got sick, so I had to look after them while they were throwing up and bedridden. Looked like death, it was very sexy. And then unfortunately our little rabbit Amelia Earhart passed away. Some of you may remember her from the Gaijin Q&A video at the end of 2021. We don't know precisely what it was. It was very unlikely it was leaf sickness. She was fine at lunchtime, started stumbling around and knocking into things in the late afternoon, barely moved out of the corner of her enclosure, and so I was going to book her into the vet first thing in the morning. She was gone by 4 AM. So that sucks. Louie's fine, by the way, he's doing really good. Anyway, after we buried her at my parents' place, I ended up getting sick too. I actually couldn't talk for about 3 weeks, even though I felt pretty much fine. This was overlapped with construction work going on in our building, which ended up severing the internet connection for about 2 weeks after, because of course it did. That's when we decided to adopt this little bundle of idiots we named Ren. We decided it had been 2 months at this point since Amelia's passing. Louie needed a new friend, loneliness can be a real problem for rabbits, and we'd always said we couldn't get a cat or a dog even though we wanted to, specifically because we couldn't have 3 animals in our little apartment. She needed adopting, and even though we only went out to have a look and ask some questions of the rescue centre, like what sort of breeds they had, how much they reckoned it would be to take care of one, given that they were all very young, and how they might get along with a rabbit, notoriously a prey animal, basically the happy meal of the animal kingdom, we were pretty much forced to adopt her immediately. I mean, the centre didn't hold us at gunpoint. She, supposedly the quiet, shy one of her clutch, immediately came right up to us and nuzzled into our arms. Anyway, I'll show her off in a video of her own. I think she deserves it. But if you've looked after a tiny baby kitten, you'll know that they require almost constant attention for their first couple of weeks in a new place. She more than most, because she's orange. If you don't have an orange cat, picture everything you think you know about cats, and then take away 68% of their brain cells. That's orange cats. Seriously, we heard this on like TikTok and Instagram. We didn't really think it was real, but they are all that stupid. Anyway, by this point it was almost Christmas, I was busy working on the Armorcast channel's latest video, and I decided to just extend the break over till Boxing Day. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but it's not Boxing Day. After Christmas, I came down very sick with a really bad case of food poisoning. I was throwing up horribly, shaking because I was frozen to the bone, while wrapped in blankets in an Australian summer, yet at the same time sweating like a pig, because I was wrapped in 3 blankets in an Australian summer. I couldn't eat or drink anything without immediately throwing it back up again, so I lost a lot of weight in a very short span of time, which is not healthy. And then I recovered from that, only to whip up a batch of COVID-19. So all in all, I've had a wonderful couple of months, going between frantically cat-proofing the apartment, which, given that it had already been made cat-proof, I thought would have been fine, but no, it wasn't. And standing over a toilet, bucket, or the balcony. Okay, that was really dark. Why did I write that? I'm fine, it wasn't that bad. Don't feel sorry for me. We've all thrown up before. It sucks, but it's fine. Anyway, the reason for my leaving the affiliate program, yeah, you forgot about that, didn't you? As many of you pointed out, probably deserved its own video discussion, since apparently it is kind of a big deal for a War Thunder creator to actually put their money where their mouth is. This is that video. If you follow the channel on my Twitter much at all, you'll know that I put out a lot of scathing remarks regarding Gaijin Entertainment and their managing and decision making for the development of War Thunder, their creative direction, and their pricing and business model. I've talked about the nerfs to the research point and Silver Lion rewards endlessly, the absolute failure to incorporate even the community's most basic feedback, and callous disregard for the player base's wants and opinions by staff members like BVVD, in the video Q&A from 2 years ago. No wonder they haven't done one since. As well as the growing focus on premium content as the only effective method of reaching the top ranks, particularly as these premiums appear to become more and more pay to win, and offer new players an instant buyable means into higher and higher BRs, while Gaijin pull cheap moves to hide behind the excuse of "we don't sell top tier premiums." To put things into perspective, this current update, Apex Predators, had the highest ratio of premium to tech tree vehicles released of any update in War Thunder's history, even more than the infamously god-awful 1.93 Shark Attack. Half the premiums were literal copy-paste of tech tree models, including the R24s and the MiG-23ML, which it shouldn't have. The upgrade that gave it R24 capability was the MiG-23MLA. The Soviet Air Force did use the MLA, so I don't get why they didn't just... Anyway, I was also slightly jaded by the selling of now $70 premium packs for rank 7, some of which literally sat at the battle rating ceiling before Gaijin finally said, "Alright, fine, we'll give you 11.7. Which means nothing to most of the premiums, which are about the only things anyone plays nowadays if they don't have the top rank flavour of the month bullshit. While Gaijin still sit here and say that we can't do decompression because it would affect the variety of vehicles you see in matches. Sure it would, Gaijin, sure it would. Also, this is definitely a light tank, as is this, and players actually don't want RBEC. Yeah, they said that. You know, all those players asking constantly for RBEC and comments on YouTube and live streams, Twitter, Discord, etc. Yeah, you don't count. Or you're just confused. How dare you, my dude? How dare you? So now, not only are the new premiums being utterly spammed out, making top tier RRB feel more like Black Friday sales at Best Buy, but they effectively make redundant all of the rank 6 premiums you bought to grind out rank 7, some of which, like the T2 Early, were just released. The T2 Early wasn't a particularly good purchase anyway, but the fact that it was released something like 2 years after the first rank 6 premiums, when the T2 was already in the game, it literally just had to be copied over, though I don't like the idea of exactly copy-paste premiums if they're just early or late. Specific squadrons or ace pilots are okay, but a close variant like the J7D or Mirage F1C200 fit better with what I think is worth $60 to $70 US. That's more than DCS packs. Which do you think are higher quality? The T2, given its 0 unique characteristics, was just a grinding machine and a way to give Japan something to match other nations. And now, a single update later, it's a complete pile of shit. Now there's also some ridiculous behind the scenes stuff I could share which we've had to deal with coming from Gaijin's staff team that paint the company in a really bad light. Some of this I have been told in no uncertain terms not to reveal, but what I can say is that it involves certain people who a certain company outsourced to do a certain amount of work for them, not receiving payment for that work which you are now enjoying. Look, if Gaijin can rip off Dune, Tailspin, and make a special event where on a planet called Pandora with big floating mountains, a greedy corporation invades a local spiritual population for a rare mineral that can only be found under that native people's sacred tree, and somehow not get sued into oblivion, I feel like I can get away with saying that. Now I must admit, I did do a very naughty thing recently, in that I shared a screenshot from the Content Partner Discord of messages that were sent there. You're not meant to do that. I did blur out the names, it didn't even occur to me that people would recognise the Discord profile images of the people involved, which I have since blurred out to show the screenshots here. And I can't say that this is the reason I did that, but the reason I didn't really care enough to prevent my very angry self in response from leaking this in the Coalition Discord was because Gaijin had already broken their contractual agreements with me. Now this was all resolved later on, it took longer than it should have, but nobody's suing Gaijin Entertainment, not that it would have been even remotely worth doing even if that hadn't been resolved. And there are other things Gaijin are meant to do as part of the agreement affiliates and content partners made with them that they haven't been upholding. But again, I am in the wrong for sharing shit from the Discord, and I am not nearly certain enough to say that Gaijin not upholding their end of the bargain releases me from my NDA. I honestly can't apologise though if this did create any kind of backlash for the people involved, because I completely vehemently dislike both of these people for these kinds of actions, and the fact that this message effectively shits on every bit of feedback and criticism which people on the CC Discord have put a lot of effort into over years, most of which is very viable stuff, like decompression, fixes to spots on maps that are completely broken, raising bugs. By the way, the bug reporting channel on the Content Partner Discord, yeah, that channel was removed for some reason. Anyway, this creator decided to be a massive bootlicker and say that we were all just being ungrateful haters and should stop playing the game, and this Gaijin staff representative decided to effectively laugh with him at all of us, saying we were all being too serious and that meh, I'm the content creator, I only play the game to show off my massive E-penis KD, meh. That is horribly unprofessional. Again, content partners, Tim's Variety springs to mind, have brought up pages worth of really well put together feedback that discusses what issues are being noticed, talks about why they are issues, potential fixes with detailed information about how they should work, why they should be implemented, pros and cons of each, and been completely ignored. For years. And people still say that things in this game are my fault for not getting them fixed, as if I have any fucking power. Again, completely ignored. Not my fault. I've tried. Also, you know how they always say, well, if you want your feedback to be heard, make sure you deliver it amicably and calmly and be polite and mature about it. That makes it more likely for Gaijin to act on it. Yeah, they keep saying it, don't they? So do devil's advocate YouTubers. No, it's not the case. You can say that as much as you want, but every single time we've managed to get something changed, or prevent something being changed, like the pay-to-win module upgrades where you'd buy additional FPE for Golden Eagles, yeah, that was a thing, or the M48A2C being down-tiered to 6.7, it's always been changed because the community screamed. Calm, friendly criticism is always ignored, because it can be. Screams and anger get shit done. Shouldn't be the case, but it very much is. You can say it's not all you like, Gaijin. We know it is. I mean, to really hammer it home, there's this really stupid feature in-game, where the moment you slow an aircraft rolling down the runway below 30 km per hour, if it has a cockpit open state in animation, the cockpit will automatically open. Why? I don't know. What could this possibly do? Why bother coding this into the game? Every time you pass 30 kph, the cockpit opens, roll back above 30 and it automatically closes again, and then opens again when you drop below. So I asked for this feature to be removed. Just remove it, it serves no purpose, just get rid of it. And I asked this at least once a year for the past 4 years. Never got a response, never got any reply as to why it's a feature at all, and was basically told to go suck an egg by other content partners because this isn't a big deal, you should be focusing on the bigger problems like decompression and balance, which I get called thick-headed by this glorious beautiful man if I bring up, because you just need to get it into your thick skull and stop bringing the same things up all the time. So again, if either of these guys got any kind of backlash, while I don't condone any witch hunting for this shit, I also can't say I'm sorry, because I'm not. It's a shitty way to treat your community, especially the content partners who make up most of your advertising and bring you in a ton of revenue. We'll get to that later. Now, I also had the opportunity to contact Gaijin in kind of a business sense, nothing too major. See, I wanted to use edited screenshots of War Thunder vehicles in merch designs on the armory, which we have done and more will be coming soon. I need to resort the armory though, so pay attention, things might be changing up there soon. Pricing won't change though. Anyway, I messaged my main contact in the partnership Discord and asked him if there would be any legal issue with my idea of doing this, or who I should ask about it. I was given the email of someone in the legal department who could answer that officially, whom I emailed twice and never got a reply. I went back to my content in the partner program and said, hey, what's going on? I've emailed this guy twice, is there anything you can do? He said he'd ask and get back to me. A week later I messaged him again because he'd forgotten to get back to me. He gave me a new email this time, someone at Gaijin's merchandising department, so I emailed him. Twice. Do you think he got back to me? Did he fuck? My partner program contact, whom I won't name because I honestly don't think he's in the wrong here, he works bloody hard to keep all you lot in the forums in check and every whiny content partner, including me. Anyway, he told me to CC him into the email and try again. Keep in mind, this was almost 6 weeks after I'd initially raised the query, and after CCing him into the email chain and sending a third email, he said that something had gone wrong and he'd get back to me. Again, never happened. I messaged him back another week later, by this point figuring that they were just having a laugh at me while enjoying their morning vodkas before actually getting to work. But I was told by my contact that I should try and sort it out on Discord instead, the guy I was supposed to be contacting this whole time actually also being in the content partner Discord. He then said something kind of alarming, and that was that this guy in charge of merchandise had told him that he had already been talking to me and getting it sorted out. No? I didn't have any messages received from this person, and certainly hadn't messaged him yet. Yeah, he lied. The whole conversation about rights ended up being 3 messages long, and wasn't even actually necessary. Gaijin don't hold the rights over screenshots you take in their game. And if that doesn't explain a lot of the problems this company have, I don't know what does. Oh, and feedback on the content partner Discord was getting removed based on the program manager's own personal tastes, something I brought up in the last video. Yeah, if you wondered why RWR functionality wasn't considered a priority for Gaijin to work on, but Dozer Blades were, that's why. But all this pales in comparison to the big boy. See, recently Gaijin added the T-80 UM2 as an event reward tank to Russia. Now, this tank is most famous for its deployment to Russia's invasion of Ukraine in March of last year. As usual, the dev blog gives a history section and talks all about the real vehicle, without mentioning the deployment and subsequent very quick destruction of the T-80 UM2 prototype at all. Okay, I thought, that's a bit shady, but it makes sense. They want to avoid controversy. After all, Gaijin routinely switched off in-game chat or put massive chat delays on everyone every time something happened in the Russia-Ukraine war, even though no other game, including war games and simulators, felt the need to do this. So I thought I'd put a comment under the dev blog saying that this prototype was actually deployed to the Ukraine theatre. That's all, for people who wanted to know. Nothing controversial, nothing political or opinionated about Russia this or Ukraine that, purely a factual statement. And yes, it has unequivocally been proven that the tank deployed and destroyed in Ukraine was the T-80 UM2. Gaijin blocked the comment. It turns out they'd been removing anybody who dared mention the tank's actual history in the comments section and censoring out all mention of it. Now you might say again, well that seems fair. They want to avoid the topic, they want to avoid the controversy, they don't want politics. Why would you add the fucking tank then? And don't tell me Gaijin want to avoid controversy. They're perfectly happy celebrating the National Day of the People's Liberation Army with fun decals and premiums to sell, while the PLA commit fucking genocide in northern China. Now the TAT-UM2, while it was part of the somewhat well-known Black Eagle project, which was never built, it is now most famous for its deployment in Ukraine. And yes, this is an ongoing war and it's controversial. So again, I was fine with them not mentioning it. It might have sparked a political discussion. I didn't like it, but fine. Removing and censoring every commenter who brings it up underneath the dev blog, however, that I have a problem with. Because the tank is most well known for this event, I called the censorship of it an act of lying by omission, and asking everyone to play along with a doctored version of history, where the tank was developed in 1997, shown off in 1998, and then never seen again. Oh. I run a military history and technology channel, partly dedicated to correcting common misconceptions and misinformation that commonly gets floated around the gaming and casual military enthusiast world, because I have fallen for it in the past, so that rubbed me really the wrong way. I brought up this censorship in the Content Partner Discord, where it was also deleted. Oh, who'd have thunk it? Who'd have seen that coming? My goodness, they're deleting comments, bringing up the fact that they're deleting comments? Now, I'm not saying that Gaijin do support Russia's invasion. They've been relatively neutral as a Russian-founded company, but they have said that they don't support it. What I am saying is that these actions are kind of incongruous with a company who don't support the invasion. So Koala, is that the worst part? Is it fuck? You might remember the Summer Cocktails event from August of last year, which was basically just loot boxes. You spent 10,000 silver lions on each of those boxes, not even premium currency, keep that in mind, it'll be important later, and you get about a 1 in 400 billion chance of getting anything remotely worthwhile out of them. Tankenstein did a video opening 100 of them, and I don't think he got much of anything. The odds were terrible, literally gambling for children. Somehow, I didn't even know this was going on at the time. I was busy working on Armorcast things, but this was a disgusting cash grab and should have been illegal. What you might not remember though was that Gaijin were issuing out chat bans to players for telling other people not to buy them. Somebody literally just said, don't buy them, waste of silver lions, and was banned on the premise that you can't tell players not to partake in game activities in chat. There are content partners and community members who think that's perfectly justified. Just let that sink in. No, get out, it's not what I meant. In fact, Collusion, who some of you may know, came on us on Twitter with this string of, well, you've never had a problem with this in the past, basically saying that the rule is perfectly justified because it's always been a rule. Apparently it hasn't, and was added to the terms and conditions a few years ago, but when those are updated you do have to re-agree to them, and yes, legally that makes this completely justified. But plenty of rules and laws have always existed in the fine print without ever being morally justified. There are a lot of examples I could pick from. But the other reason Collusion's response here is wrong is because nobody ever had any reason to be angry about this fine print crap until this incident came out, until it was known. The fact that we didn't know Gaijin were doing this or were going to enforce it in such a cavalier fashion doesn't mean we were ever going to be okay with it. Again, China have been committing genocide over past years. If you didn't know about that, that doesn't mean you were okay with genocide. It means you didn't fucking know. And let me just say this in cold black and white. You should not be okay with this. This is a player advising others who may be relatively new to the game and not know the economy very well, how to spend and not spend their silver lions, the free in-game currency, which the earning and spending of is a part of the game, and getting banned for it. Imagine what this player would have gotten for just saying, don't buy the T2 early, it's a waste of money. He probably would have ended up with a fucking permanent account ban. I've been told that the moderator behind this decision is routinely known for abusing his authority and banning people on a whim for really minor things. Now, on the Coalition Discord, we have a rule about excessive cursing. Constant use of coarse language is not permitted. I wonder what's going to be on there when I hop on this afternoon. We have never enforced it, even when people use a few curses because this game and its development company cheese a lot of you guys off. It's the kind of rule that you'd really have to quite obviously break before we would feel the need to crack down on it, because people should not have to walk on eggshells. Gaijin disagree, and so do people like this. That's kind of disappointing, but not surprising. Anyone remember when Tech said that it was perfectly fine for Gaijin to put players' accounts into premium debt, where you'd buy a week of premium and only receive a day, because during an event Gaijin released a broken link and told players to all go use it to get these unique rewards, but the premium days that were part of those rewards were only meant to apply to new accounts created with the link, not existing players. Again, Gaijin told you to use the link. They had released a broken link. It gave you shit it was not meant to. Every other company on Earth would have just taken the L and said, well, we screwed up. It's fixed now, but for those of you who got a bit of free premium you weren't meant to, enjoy that on us. And probably fired the poor intern responsible. Gaijin, however, said, your account is now in premium debt. Next time you buy premium, we're not giving it to you until your debt is paid off. What the fuck? European Canadian said this was perfectly okay, and the issue was players' reading comprehension, since clicking on the link it did say that only new accounts would receive the premium account time. The thing is, whether you read it or not, there was no way to not accept the premium account time, and some players who literally didn't even play while having that premium time active on their accounts, a little bit of a Good Samaritan thing to do there, don't think it was worthwhile, don't think Gaijin deserved it, they were still getting premium debt. To reiterate, you could not avoid getting it, but it was your fault. The Scottish Koala does not endorse witch hunting or abuse. Someone saying something bad on the internet does not give you the right to bully that person, especially not on my behalf. I do not have anything nice to say about either of these people. That should not be enough to create drama wars. Don't do that! Bad! Stop it! Anyway, where was I? Summer cocktails, Gaijin censoring. Yes. Right. Now, because this same rule also extended to the War Thunder forums, it effectively silences the community's voice against anything Gaijin does entirely, prevents you warning other players against overpriced content, gambling mechanics, etc. And since I'm assuming the majority of you watching don't have a YouTube audience or a large Discord and social media following to make your voice heard, in-game chat and forums is the general player base's main grounds for conversation. This is what caused me to decide to leave the program. This is where I draw the line. As of now, the Scottish Koala is no longer a part of Gaijin's affiliate program for War Thunder, nor the content partner Discord server, not that there was ever much point to that. I cannot in good faith and will not continue to accept money from Gaijin to promote premium content in their game when you, the players, and my audience do not have a voice with which to say otherwise. I won't encourage people to buy something without there being a reasonable way for those people to potentially advise each other if it is or isn't a good idea. I know this might seem like an over-the-top reaction to some of you, but I really should put my money where my mouth is, and I cannot continue to do this for Gaijin when I so thoroughly believe what they are doing is wrong. So you will no longer be able to use our store link, nor access our in-game decal if you don't have it already. If you do, you will keep it, and please use it more and more now. I would love to see Gaijin's reaction to seeing them all over the place. I am sorry to anyone who was thinking about picking it up soon, but I did not want to announce this ahead of time, partially because I didn't want Gaijin to know and to find out through a YouTube video that I planned this, lest they kick me out immediately without paying me the end of what they owed me. And partially because advertising this as a last hurrah in order to bring in more money is not what I wanted to do. The link should now be removed from all my old videos, though do let us know if you spot it so that I can go and remove it manually. I had someone on Twitter ask if this was a difficult decision to make, and I responded by saying that no, it honestly really wasn't, because although I am leaving a lot of money on the table here, putting your foot down and not allowing yourself and your integrity to be corrupted when you will not stand for something is worth more to me than the pittance I was earning through the revenue share program. But it does kind of pain me to have to do, as Gaijin have done things that I like recently. I mean, they did decompress to 11.7, now they are appearing to be going up to 12.0. As meaningless as that is right now, it's not decompression. And they have just added drop tanks, something I've been asking for years. They're also delving into 4th generation fighter jets, which is my favourite territory as far as military tech is concerned. Second favourite, but we're never likely to get medium to long range SAMs in War Thunder. Also, when was the last time you saw a large amount of sparks? Or ghost shells? I've only had like a dozen ghost shells in the last 6 months. But alas, I am the sad girl here, defending a domestic abuser because, but he loves me really, see, he remembered my birthday, he only cheated on me 4 times this month. If you or someone you know is being abused, seek help immediately. There are people who have your back and you deserve to know that. Domestic abusers should sod off and die. Now, this was my decision, and my decision alone. I was not kicked from the program, and this was not anything to do with my sharing screenshots I wasn't meant to, or making scathing videos and tweets. I am not being censored here. I have elected to leave voluntarily. This is not going to start a CC exodus like World of Warships had last year. I am not expecting any other content partner to leave the program, nor should anybody here badmouth people who continue to promote their links and decals because of me. At the end of the day, some people may just genuinely think I'm overreacting. This doesn't bother them. And I am not close to arrogant enough to think that this move is actually going to do anything or spur Gaijin to do better, while others may also not really stand for what Gaijin are doing, but just not be in the financial position to be able to sacrifice the income they get from the program and up and leave, even if they wanted to. I am privileged enough to be able to put my foot down like this, to not be trapped in this situation. Not everybody is. Also, I know some people will see this as just virtue signaling, continue to see me as a Gaijin shill regardless, and I'm sure somebody is going to bring up that every sale through my link was just 6% of revenue that didn't go into Gaijin's pocket, 3% discount for you, again, doesn't apply to stuff that's already on sale, and a 3% cut from me, so in a way, less money is being taken from them now that I'm not there. Gaijin, however, from my link alone, and I guarantee mine was not used as frequently as others, made about $50,000 US in a single year. Because of that, I can't help but feel somewhat responsible, or at least complicit, with Gaijin's business model, so it would be a little strange for me to so frequently and actively speak against it, while also promoting it and profiting from it. And as someone who's trying to think about 2 YouTube channels as a professional business with a reputation to consider, I know some people will find that really silly, but it's my responsibility, I have to do it. I saw that this was not worth the income I was getting from the program to stay in it. I earned roughly $1,500 by the way, around $100 a month. Gaijin earned 50 grand. So from now on, I am just a player. I am not affiliated with Gaijin Entertainment. I don't receive any monetary incentive from the great snail overlords. I am what I am when I started this channel, a War Thunder player deciding to put out some fun videos. And that will continue. I still plan on making War Thunder content for many years to come, as long as I can, because at the end of the day, I will suck a dick. That is not going in the video. People will take that way out of context. I still plan on making War Thunder content for many years to come, as long as I can, because at the end of the day, I still love this game, and I hope you all do as well, to varying degrees. But now, I also hope that this might make you trust my word a bit more whenever I do talk positively about Gaijin's actions, and lets you know that I will never misrepresent or mislead my audience for my own personal gain. Again, the ability was there. I never really promoted my decal link that heavily, and I could have. Lots of other YouTubers, when they got theirs, made premium buyer's guides, top premiums, or my top favorite tanks, where half of them were premiums. You could, just conveniently go and pick up yourself. Use the link below. I didn't do all that. I should have. There is a lot of money we're leaving on the table here. And I no longer have the voice within Gaijin that I used to, though I will reiterate again that even the automatic cockpit opening at an arbitrary speed that ruins cinematics wouldn't be listened to, so forget anything that actually matters making it through because of the content partner feedback channel. It did only take 7 hours to receive my first death threats for leaving the program for being a traitor, and since this video will undoubtedly reach a lot more people than that post did, I'm probably about to get some more, as well as some very angry Gaijin shills, which I am not sorry for. Because at the end of the day, this decision does make me feel better about the videos I want to make, the things I might want to say, and perhaps I can be a little more proud of where I stand. And that is all that matters to me. Oh, and a Gaijin employee once told players on an official livestream that he hoped they choked to death on their own vomit. Did you forget that? Because I didn't. I never forget. Sleep well, Gaijin.